Hey all, a blackboard video, okay, as opposed to the whiteboard videos that we used to do. Now that we're back in the gym, obviously I'm going to make use of this, but also because after the video I did Sunday, I spoke about getting back on track with all of these metrics. A lot of us, once we got back into the gym, we were just happy to be training, we were pushing ourselves hard, but then obviously we've had things like the restaurants and the bars open up again. So I suppose social interaction has increased, so maybe more stuff going on at the weekends. So maybe the balance isn't quite right to actually get results long term. Even though we're training hard, the results are probably slowing down that we initially got when the gym opened first, okay? So it's important to kind of talk through these, and for anyone that would have listened to me in any of the whiteboard videos before will know about most of this stuff, because I would have done videos on each of these topics individually at different stages and waffled on for 10-15 minutes at a time on them all. So if you want to go into more detail on any of those, we can go back over those videos. But for today, I just wanted to kind of reiterate some of the points that need to be made as to why these are so important and how not concentrating on one of them and dropping the ball in one area can affect every other area, okay? So for results, a lot of us just think it's training and diet, okay? There's the two. If I get my calories into a deficit and I come in and tick a box where I train 2-3 days in a row or in the week, I'll get results long term, and that's all that matters. And once I do those two things, everything is great and it's that easy, okay? Unfortunately, it's not that easy. And anyone that's doing it for a long time will know that certain times you can be training really well, dieting pretty well and getting your food on track, but other areas of your week are struggling, and because of that, then you don't get results. So here's why. When it comes to getting results, if we look at training, for example, right, we want to train with as much energy as we possibly can. We want to make sure that when we come in here, we're progressing the weights that we lift. So if we come into the gym and we're not fresh, it's hard then to do that. Or if we're not motivated because of it, you know, we go on a hip thrust or a hack squat or something where it's a compound exercise that's quite tough to progress the weights on all the time, and you struggle and everything hurts, and no matter how much you try to push up the weight, you're struggling to do that. If that's happening, then the training effect in order to get results is diminished. So things that we have to look for in training would be progressive overload. In other words, getting stronger all the time, improving our ability to do the ski, the prowlers and the air bikes and stuff at the end. If we're getting fitter and stronger on those, we're going to get more results longer term. If we're struggling in any of these other areas and our training is affected as a result of it, then that's the training effect diminished straight away, okay? Sleep. So if we're not sleeping great at night, then we don't have much energy the next morning. We're not getting proper recovery when we don't get enough sleep in the nighttime. So for deep sleep then isn't getting any kind of decent amount of time, then obviously our recovery is impacted. The next day we get up, we're feeling extra sore, motivation is gone. So if you look at it, sleep diminishes, we're higher stress the next day because we're tired, our digestion is going to be poor because we're not functioning properly inside. Our mindset then isn't going to be as good because we're tired, so we're fatigued, we're lazy, we don't want to train. Our diet isn't as good because maybe we're not as energetic, so when it comes to prepping our food, we're not doing it. And obviously if our digestion is poor because of poor sleep and we're not breaking food down properly, then we're not regulating blood sugar and things like that go on when we sleep, our diet isn't going to be as good the following day or not as effective. Even if we were getting our calories right, we're not using and absorbing that food as well because of digestion. And then our training isn't as good because we're tired and we're not performing properly because all these other things have been affected because of our sleep, okay? So everything is connected here. Same with stress. If we're high stressed and we're letting stress get to us all the time, we tend to not be concentrating on other tasks. We come into the gym, we're still thinking about this thing that's stressing us out all the time. Maybe we're not going to digest food as easy because we're higher stressed. So anyone that tells you when you're stressed, your appetite isn't as good, you don't want to eat the meal, you don't want to finish the meal, and maybe you just turn to junk food as a comfort. Your mindset is poor because you're high stressed all the time, so you're not thinking clearly, so you're not focusing on what you should be doing, you're not as motivated to kick on. Your diet then isn't going to be as good because your digestion is affected and your appetite isn't great, and you're turning towards junk food. Then your training is affected because when you come in here, you're not motivated and you're also not concentrating on what you're doing. And then when you're stressed, we go to bed at night, we try sleep, we can't settle, we can't sleep because we're stressed. Again, whole way around, just from this, all these were affected. And I can keep going in that vein. So when you look at results, if any of these are off, we have to make sure that the rest of them aren't being affected as much. So if I know I'm high stressed, I need to try compartmentalize that so that when I get into the gym, I can multi-switch, not multitask. So I come in and say, look, this is my hour in the gym. I'm gonna help it de-stress me. I want to de-stress, so I need to know when I go to bed, I need to take my mind off my stresses, write them down, what I call a brain dump, write down the things that are stressing you, put it on a piece of paper next to the bed, close the book up, lie down, go to sleep and just relax and think. You can't affect it, you can't do anything about it that night, so relax and try and get a good night's sleep, okay? Digestion, making sure that if we're stressed when we sit down and eat our dinner, we take our mind off it, we relax, we realize we have to eat for fuel, try and get your food in and digest it, chew your food, don't rush your meals, trying to stick with a healthy diet, not turn into junk food because you're high stressed. Things like that. Mindset, like I said, multi-switch when you come into the gym. Try tick the other boxes, so don't let this stress thing that's happening you affect the rest of your day. We have to try tick boxes and know that if I'm high stressed all the time, but if I can still get these done, these may help reduce that stress as a result, because if I get a better night's sleep, I wake up the next day feeling a bit more refreshed, maybe a bit more energy to get things done, so I'm less stressed. If I'm eating my food, I have more fuel, so my digestion is better and my food is better. When I have more fuel, I can train a bit better. When I train and have a good session, my mindset improves, okay? So you can jump around any way, which way you want. Everything that you can improve on is going to have a knock-on effect. Inversely, like I said, if you have something where you're struggling with, the others are damaged. If we have something that we're really pushing and really benefiting from, we can usually then bring that into other areas, okay? So this is why the tracker sheet is so important, because if you are training every week, 4 sessions a week or 3 sessions, and you're ticking your box there, you're getting some cardio, your steps are good, your diet is pretty good, you eat well, you don't eat junk food, you're tracking your food, your sleep is really good and all these things, but then you have something wrong here, we need to know where the issues are. So if you track it every week and we can see, sometimes you might not realize you have some issues until you actually write them down and go, God, I didn't realize that I was so bad there. Then we can work on it week to week. We can look at the reasons as to why this is happening, put things in place to fix it, rather than changing everything at once, or, oh look, I'm high stress, so because of that, I'm not going to train, I'm going to eat shit, so I'm not going to diet, I'm not going to sleep at night because I'm high stress. Everything just falls by the wayside. So because we got one flat tire, we punch out every other one at the same time, okay? We need to be better. So if we're monitoring this and we're actually putting it down and tracking it on the sheet every week, we can see it. And sometimes without even talking to me, you might realize, look, I need to work on my mindset here, okay? And I can improve then all these areas and my mindset would be better. Whatever, you can almost tell yourself before you send it to me what the issues are. Because the more educated you get, the more times you realize where you're weakest, the better chance you have of fighting it back and doing the right things to make it better, okay? So look, I hope that makes sense. That's the first of these back 4 videos I'm going to do, and like I've always done, I go into more detail as time goes on. But I want to see people bringing in their tracker sheet filled in, and talk to me about it. Let's get some results, because we're going to fix all of these areas wherever we're weakest. It's not just about training, it's not just about diet, it's about all of the above, okay? And we cannot underestimate any of these and the effects that they have positively or negatively on the body, okay? So look, have a good week and talk to you soon.